Greetings and welcome to Basketball Rules Expert Live. Glad to see everybody live. Glad to see everybody live and everybody who jumps in on the replay. Make sure in the replay you can look at the timestamps that we put in the video so that you can move quickly from play to play scenario if you'd like. Super excited to be back in the studio in the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area, bringing basketball rules content for NFHS basketball officials, talking NFHS basketball rules, and looking at play scenarios to see how we can become more expert at the rules of high school basketball. Greetings, everybody. If you're new to me, my name is Greg Austin with abetterofficial.com. We craft video to help basketball officials get better. This Basketball Rules Expert show is all about helping officials gain an understanding of the rules so that we can take them with us onto the basketball court. As we always talk about, there's different rules, levels of rules knowledge. One is, I can pass the test. The other is, I can have a rules discussion. But what's most important is that we have the rules with us on the basketball court. That's where it's most important. Super excited to see everybody in the house. We got Billy Mack from a little corner of Connecticut. Excellent. Les O'Connor joining us from Chicago, the suburbs. Excellent. Got beautiful weather going. Grace is in the house. One of my favorites. And Jason, let's do it. Let's do it. Fantastic. Let's see how that goes. Okay. All right. Making some changes, getting better at some things with the live streaming. But what's been great is we've had great community, great connection between officials during our live streams, which is fantastic. The other benefit, of course, is that it gets me in front of the camera producing content that can last and officials can take advantage of down the road. As everybody knows, we have a show within a show, right? We like the engagement live, though. It's fantastic. Los Stanton. Not sure how to pronounce that. Is Stanton a Spanish word? I don't know. Is that a last name? I don't know. Let me in the chat. Let me know. All right. Martin from the Philippines. Excellent, excellent. Actually, we have a lot of views from the Philippines outside of the United States. I think we have more views on the channel from the Philippines than we do even from Canada. So that's exciting. That's exciting. My son's been to the Philippines. I have not. Los Stanton. Got it. Okay. I got that from now on. Los Stanton. All right. Okay, cool. Hey, let's take a brief rundown of our upcoming shows. Our live schedule. Every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. Basketball Rules Expert. We talk about National Federation of High School Basketball rules in a rules scenario setting, right? Here's words on the page. Here's how we deal with those words, right? And then every Friday, Basketball Rules Expert, every Friday, 5 Play Friday live, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, where we look at plays, right? Video, different, we apply the rules that are text-based, but when we see plays, there's a lot more input, a lot more reality to play scenarios. So 5 Play Fridays live. And then Masterclass Mondays. We have a Masterclass Monday, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, coming on Monday, July 19th. Next week will be free throw week at A Better Official on Monday. Masterclass Monday. I'm super excited. It's going to be a fun one where we talk about all the rules and restrictions regarding free throws. On Wednesday, basketball rules expert will be focusing on play scenarios that involve free throws. And on Friday, 5-Play Friday, we'll be looking at video of free throw plays. So next week, free throws, again, money back guaranteed that by the end of the week, you'll have complete understanding of all the rules and restrictions regarding free throws in National Federation of High School Basketball rules. You can take that to the bank. If you're new to the show, put new in the comments. Let us know where you're officiating from. Be pleased to meet you. If you're new to me, my name is Greg Austin with abetterofficial.com. I've been a high school basketball official for quite some time, and I consider myself to be an expert, and I can help others become more knowledgeable about the rules of National Federation of High School Basketball rules. And at any time, jump into the comments field jump into the chat. Anytime, jump into the chat field with your comment about a play, a ruling, what's going on. Let us know in the chat. Okay, fantastic. Steve DePalma's in the house. Fantastic. Fantastic. Where are you from, Steve? I forget. The Zooch is making an appearance. Have to be on point with your rules with the Zooch in the house. That's a fact. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, let me do this. All right, we're going to start the show. Give me just a second here, and I will make it so. 10 quick questions, rule scenarios, National Federation of High School Basketball rules. Let's get going. Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Basketball Rules Expert, the show where we take National Federation of High School Basketball rules, we lift them off the printed page, breathe life into them, simplify, clarify, amplify, so that you can take them with you onto the basketball court. Greetings again, everybody. My name is Greg Austin with abetterofficial.com. I've been a high school basketball official here in the San Francisco Bay Area for over a decade, and I consider myself to be a basketball rules expert. This show is designed to help you on your journey to becoming a basketball rules expert as well. Have to give a shout out, as we do before every show, to our fantastic show supporters. That didn't work. That's what editing is for. Sylvia Bigot, Mike Sakurai, Jeff Jewett, Mark Sato, and Mike Wong. Much appreciated and much love. You want to buy us a coffee? You can always go to abetterofficial.com/coffee. There'll be a link above. All right. Okay, fantastic. That's so needs work. Ray Allen is in the house. No, not Hall of Famer Ray Allen, the true Hall of Famer Ray Allen from the San Francisco Bay Area, a fantastic basketball official and a basketball rules expert, without a doubt. Ray, it's great to see you in the house. Fantastic. Okay. Let me see if we can make this happen properly. All right, let's look at our... So last week we covered correctable errors at a better official. This week, our first play scenario finishes up on something that we brought up in our coverage of correctable errors last week. Let's take a look at our very next play scenario. That didn't work. Okay. Dribbler A1 is fouled. It is the 7th team foul on Team B. The officials erroneously award a throw-in. During the dead ball, A1 is replaced by A6. The ball is inbounded, and while Team A has the ball in the front court, the table alerts the crew of the error. The officials rule that free throws will be attempted by A1, who will re-enter the game, replacing A6. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Okay, so we had a scenario last week in Correctable Errors where we talked about this very same play, and I was unsure of the answer. A lot of people in the chat, Mike Connors specifically, I recall, said absolutely A1 is coming back in the game and they're going to shoot the free throws, no restriction against. Didn't quite sit with me, but we have clarity. No. Give me just a second. Crap, I've lost it. Give me just a second, I'll find it. Hold on. Ay, that was hard. Hey, so we have clarification, National Federation of High School Basketball rules interpretation from way back in 2005, 2006. This was before I was officiating. Situation one, A1 is fouled by B1 late in the second quarter. It's a common foul and the 7th foul. Bonus situation not recognized. Substitute for A1. A6 is beckoned onto the floor and becomes a legal player by rule. A1 has left the game, and under normal circumstances would be required to sit until the clock properly runs. But the table informs either before the free throw has ended, before the throw-in has ended, or after the ball is inbounded and the team has control, the table informs that it should be 1-on-1 ref. And the ruling, this is a correctable error situation and falls within the proper time frame for correction. In both A and B, A6 leaves the game and A1 re-enters to shoot the bonus free throw. Play is resumed as after any free throw attempts. So clarity on the rule. A1 is allowed, and it sounds as though they are required, unless they were injured or indisposed in some fashion, to re-enter the game and attempt the free throws. So, in this situation where the officials said A1 will re-enter the game and attempt the free throws, were the officials correct? Yes. Yes, they were. All right, next play scenario. During the jump ball to start overtime, jumper A1 bats the tip, which caroms off the tossing official's head high into the air. A1 then jumps and catches the ball before it touches the floor. The officials rule this to be a legal play. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Kind of a humorous situation. Hopefully nobody's hurt. During the jump ball, one of the jumpers bats the ball, I guess in a downward direction, contacts the tossing official on the dome, and the ball bounces high into the air. Imagine the energy in the building when that happens. The jumper leaps and catches the ball in the air. The officials make no ruling of illegality on the play. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Let's look at the rules and restrictions regarding a jump ball and jumpers. Jumpers are not allowed to contact the ball a third time. They can contact the ball twice legally before the jump ball ends. And we always, with any of the restarts in the game of basketball, jump ball, throw in, free throw, we need to know, because during those restarts, there's a special set of rules that are brought in that only apply during the time frame that the event is occurring. When does the ball become live? That starts or when does the jump ball start? When does the restart start? And when does the restart end? And when do the restrictions end? So in this instance, a jumper is not allowed to contact the ball a third time. And they're also not allowed to catch the basketball during the jump ball. So when does a jump ball end? It ends when it is touched by any other player on the court, the floor, or either basket or backboard. Okay? Because a backboard, when contacted, is considered to be at that spot of the floor. So what about an official? It's not addressed in the rule, but what we know is that the official, a ball contacting the official, is considered to be contacting the floor at that spot. So in our situation, jump ball, player bats the ball, and it hits the official, it would be the same as hitting the floor. If it hits the floor, our restrictions have ended, and the jump ball has ended, and that player is legally allowed to catch the basketball. So, in this instance, where the officials ruled that this was a legal play, were the officials correct? Yes. Yes, they were. All right. And Les O'Connor correctly points out the officials are considered part of the court. Official is in the rule. Let me know what you mean by that. Maybe I'm seeing that out of context. Billy Mack, the jump ball and restrictions in 637 end when the touched ball contacts one of the 8 non-jumpers. Oh, and official, it's in the rule! Oh, fantastic. Billy Mack comes to the rescue. Excellent. But even if it wasn't in the rule, we can deduce the correct result. Fantastic. So, I'm sorry, I skipped over any discussion of the previous play. So, we've wrapped this play up. This is good. This is good. LaFonso Prince is in the house from Houston, Texas. Hope all is well down in Texas where my daughter lives. Les O'Connor, they were correct on our correctable error scenario. Fred, I guess there was a debate going on at officiating.com/basketball, a great resource for basketball officials. Officiating.com/basketball. It's a chat room, a very knowledgeable group of officials there to discuss basketball rules. When I first started officiating, that was my go-to place. This was in an era before Facebook groups existed. And it was an invaluable resource for me. There's incredible rules knowledge available. Officiating.com www.correctable.com/basketball. I will put a link in the show notes below. But I guess there was a discussion. I got the information not from Jason Hayes. He provided me that interpretation. And we got it right. And specifically Mike Connors from our previous episode, I remember, was all about that. Why you keep the whistle out of your mouth during a jump ball. Yeah. A good friend of mine officiating a NCAA women's game got an elbow to the face during a jump ball and suffered a concussion, right? So we want to protect ourselves during jump ball scenarios. We do the best we can. We want to have, obviously, habits and techniques that keep us as safe as possible. Okay. And with that, I'm moving on to our let's move on to our very next play scenario. After Team A scores in the last 10 seconds of the second half, and before the ball is at the disposal of Team B for a throw-in, A1 grabs B1 in an effort to have a foul ruled and save time or stop the clock. The officials rule an intentional foul on A1, and B2 is awarded 2 free throws. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Okay. Team is obviously trailing. We're in the final seconds. They release a try. The ball goes in the basket. Before the ball is at the disposal of the thrower, player intentionally fouls in an effort to have a foul ruled and the clock stopped. The officials rule an intentional foul and will award 2 free throws to the offended player and the ball at the spot nearest the foul. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Again, we have to be experts at status. Live ball, dead ball. If the foul occurred during a live ball scenario, that would be the correct ruling. But after a made basket, the ball becomes dead. And until it is at the disposal of the thrower and the official has begun a count, then by rule, it is still a dead ball scenario. So now we have an intentional foul during dead ball, which makes it a technical foul. And that is going to change. Although the team will be awarded 2 free throws, that will change who can attempt the free throws and where the resulting throw-in is. So it's just a little window where we can do something that appears logical, but by rule, this is a technical foul since it occurred during a dead ball time frame. LaFonso Prince, correct. 100% correct. Billy Mack, classic, intentional, technical foul. Anybody, any team member, no, any player, any eligible substitute may attempt the 2 free throws and the team gets the ball for a division line throw-in. So the adjudication of the play is relatively straightforward. Once we realize that the foul occurred during a dead ball, that gives us guidance as to the correct administration. So in this instance, were the officials correct? Yes or no? No. No, they were not. A1 is fouled and awarded 2 bonus free throws. A1 misses the first. After releasing the second free throw, A2 fouls B2 while positioning for a possible rebound, and the second try misses. I failed to put the right slide in here. So the officials are then notified that an error was made and it should have only been a 1-and-1 scenario. So it's correctable rules error scenario. Should have been 1-and-1. The second free throw was unmerited. The officials rule that we will disregard the foul that occurred during the rebounding action or during the free throw, and that we will go to the point of interruption. The point of interruption on this play, okay, and that's what they go to the point of interruption, which would be a possession arrow throw-in. Getting it? Getting it? Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Okay, we'll fix that in post. Okay, so we have a situation where the officials erroneously believe that 2 free throws should be awarded in a correctable error scenario. The first attempt is missed, and the second attempt is missed, but while the ball is in flight, there is illegal contact and a foul is ruled. The officials are ready to report the foul to the table, but the table says, hey, ref, that last one should have been 1-and-1 and not double bonus. Not 2 free throws. So that means that our second free throw was an unmerited free throw. We are within the window to correct, and we will make the correction. And when we have an unmerited free throw, we are, as officials, are instructed to disregard any common fouls that occur. We're not going to disregard technical, intentional, or flagrant fouls. Had this foul been, an elbow to the face that was ruled intentional or flagrant, that would not be disregarded. But in this instance, we disregard the foul as if it didn't happen because it occurred during an unmerited free throw. We go to the point of interruption. Point of interruption would be, since the first free throw was missed, would be a possession arrow, alternating possession throw-in at the spot nearest to where the free throw missed. If the first free throw was successful, then we would go to the point of interruption, which would be an end line throw-in for the opponent of the thrower. So, straightforward. So, Billy Mack says, disregard the common foul. Correct. Love it. I will fix that slide scenario in post. All right, let's look at our very next play scenario. Oh, no. I see. I see what we're doing here. Okay. Hey, if you find this kind of content valuable as a basketball official, now's the time to do all the things. Hit like, subscribe, notify, so you don't miss out on any of our new content, and also share share the video with other basketball officials who could find value as well. All right, let's look at our very next play scenario. A1's try enters the basket and gets stuck in the net. After a second or two, A1 reacts by contacting the ball so it will pass through. The officials rule a basket interference violation on A2 and award the ball to Team B for an end-line throw-in. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? So sometimes the basketball is just a little too big and the net's just a little too small, and the basketball can become suspended within the net on a made goal or after a try has been attempted. So we need to have an understanding of when a goal counts. And a goal counts when it passes through the basket or remains in the basket. This ball was in the basket. The goal is scored at that point, the point it gets suspended. The player subsequently contacting the ball should be disregarded in this instance. So, in this instance, were the officials correct? Yes or no? No. No, they were not. Score the goal, end line throw into the opponent. Les O'Connor, no, they were not by rule when the ball passes through or enters in and remains in the basket. Score the goal. No violation has occurred. Correct. Correct. Something that could just, in the moment, it's befuddling, but if we understand the definition, then we are armed for success. Let's look at our very next play scenario. A1 is disqualified for receiving a 5th personal foul. Later in the game, A1 re-enters the game as a substitute. The officials recognize it at the first dead ball after A1 re-entered the game. The officials rule a direct technical foul on the head coach of Team A. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Well, this would be a fine how do you do. We have got a disqualified player. They go to the bench. Later on, they re-enter the game. The ball becomes live. Are they a legal player? And at the first dead ball, maybe the opposing coach says, hey, he fouled out. Right? Table says, yes, he has 5 fouls. Confusion reigns. The officials assess a direct technical foul on the head coach. Were they correct by rule? Yes. Yes, they were. The head coach is responsible in this situation. If a substitute or if a player who has fouled out re-enters the game, that is the responsibility of the head coach, not on the player. Is this different than at other levels? Yes. Yes, it is. In NCAA women's, I know that the re-entry is the responsibility of the player, not the head coach. I'm almost certain. But in this instance, the head coach is responsible for that player re-entering the game. That is a direct technical foul on the head coach. 2 free throws for the opponent and the ball for a division line throw-in opposite the table. Mike Goodwin is in the house from Alaska. Correct. Direct technical foul on the head coach. Les O'Connor agrees. Has anyone ever had this happen in their game where a disqualified player has re-entered the game? I have never had it happen in my game. I'd be really curious if anybody has or even knows of it happening. It's one of those things. It's kind of like a goaltending on a free throw, right? You know it's possible. You know has happened, but it's never happened in my game. Fred Thompson says yes. Do tell. Tell us the tale. Oh my goodness. And was there any confusion surrounding it? Awesome. If that happened in my game, that would be a 2-fister. But at least I know the rule. Oh, Jason with the curveball. What happens if the DQ'd player is still playing and the officials were informed later that it was his 5th? Let's say this. Let's say the player re-entered the game. The head coach, had a brain fart. He re-entered the game. He's playing in the game. The assistant coach is like, hey, coach, that guy's got 5. We have to get him out of the game, right? Next dead ball, substitute, player comes out of the game. Ball's made live. Things are happening. Basketball is being played. let's say at the end of the period, this occurred in the third period. At the end of the period, the table says, "Hey, ref, did you notice that this player re-entered the game after they'd been disqualified?" Then what do we have, right? When has our window to assess a technical foul in this instance, has it passed? As it would if that was a player who was an illegal substitution or was not in the book or some such, right? Our window to correct would close. How about in this situation where our player who's been disqualified enters the game, leaves the game, and we're notified later? Anybody have anything on that? I'd be befuddled. Okay, Fred's going to explain his scenario. So he's got an illegal return by a disqualified player. Immediately, the crew recognized it and assessed a technical foul, and it turned out it was the second technical foul, direct technical foul on the head coach. So that must have been a fun little moment where they are notified that they have been ejected by rule and must leave the visual confines and not communicate with the team at all for the remainder of the game. Les O'Connor, if the table fails to notify the officials of the fifth foul, there's no penalty assessed. Once the officials are notified, players removed and from the game. Correct. Let's say all of that has occurred. The player has 5. But for whatever reason, hey, Billy, get in there later on in the game. The player plays. The player leaves. Later, we are informed. Technical foul on the head coach, or has our window passed? I would say in a technical foul, I would be willing to listen to opinions on how to rule on that play. My reaction would be technical foul head coach, even if we receive the information later. My confidence level is not high on that play. Anybody has that? Mike Lloyd says window has passed. You could talk me into that. That's for sure. All right, we're going to move on. Let's look at our next play scenario. A1 with both feet in the air catches a passed ball, lands on one foot, jumps, and finally lands on both feet simultaneously. The officials rule this to be a legal play. Were the officials correct? Yes or no, right? Player catches the ball in the air, bounces off one foot, lands on 2 feet simultaneously, like they're playing hopscotch. Don't bump, right? Legal by rule. But what is the player then not allowed to do, right? Player in this situation can do many things. They can pass, shoot, call timeout. But there's something that they're not allowed to do. It's an obvious thing if we know the rules and restrictions regarding traveling. And that is, they are not then allowed to have either foot be the pivot foot. When a player catches the ball in the air, bounces off one foot, jumps off one foot, lands on 2 feet simultaneously, that is a legal play by rule, but they may not pivot at that point after they have landed on 2 feet simultaneously. Marcel has a travel on the play, right? And Marcel, just imagine it though. A player catches the ball in the air, right? Catch the ball in the air, jump off 1 foot, right? They've caught the ball in the air. Their first contact with the floor, holding the ball, is off of 1 foot, and then 2 feet. land simultaneously on 2 feet. We all know that a player can jump the ball. We all know a player can jump, catch the ball, land on 2 feet, and then either foot can be the pivot. Legal play. In this instance, jump, catch the ball, land on 1 foot, then 2 feet, but neither foot can be the pivot. Legal play, but neither foot can be the pivot. That's pretty straightforward, and we're going to move on. But first, for our live viewers, Mike, is the rule about our returning player that is penalized when discovered in the rule? If so, then our window would definitely have passed. Thank you, Jason Thompson, for throwing us that curveball scenario. Same as an illegal sub. I'll buy that. Marcel, on the traveling play, the first contact is the pivot. The first contact, but there is within the traveling rule, it allows legal footwork for a player to catch the ball in the air, jump off 1 foot, and land on 2 foot. That's specifically allowed by rule. Remember that when it comes to rules of high school basketball and rules, there are different types of rules. There's different scenarios. One is this action in the rule is specifically prohibited by rule. This is illegal. Another is this action is specifically said to be legal. This is illegal. This is legal. And then there's also a third scenario where it is not addressed. It does not specifically say that a player can jump, catch in the air, jump 1, land 2. And we have to apply other rules that we know to the scenario to determine. But in this instance, this situation is specifically addressed by rule and said to be a legal play, but that the player may not then have a pivot foot. Thanks, Mike, for that clarification. So, if it's when discovered while being violated, that player who returned with the 5th foul, then by rule, our opportunity to assess a technical foul has passed, and the coach snuck under the radar. That assistant coach who pulled on their shirt and said, "Hey, coach, we got to get him out right now," right? He gets a bonus. And as Billy Mack points out, Marcel, is in rules in general, our approach to the rules, if it's not specifically outlined as illegal by rule, then treat everything that occurs as legal. That's our default assumption, unless we, recognize that an advantage was gained that was not intended by rule. Okay. Let's move on to our next play scenario. Team A is wearing red uniforms. The officials notice that A12 has a red hair control device, A22 has a white hair control device, and A32 has a yellow hair control device. The officials rule this to be legal. Pretty straightforward. Hair control devices have no color restrictions. By rule, okay, great. What's a hair control device? We have to know that, as our most important role as basketball officials is being the fashion police, right? Not an enjoyable part of our role as officials, I find. Nobody wants to be in that position. There's so much. We're dealing with teams who get information that's inconsistent. Last night they said that it was legal. This night they say it's illegal, right? A lot of challenges related to understanding of uniform rules and equipment restrictions. But hair control devices are very simple. They go around hair only. A headband is something that goes around the head completely. and has skull. It has skull within its circle, right? That's a headband. Color restrictions apply. Hair control devices, could have 25 of them going down a ponytail. Legal. No color restrictions. Not a thing. Let them play, ref. Billy Mack, no color restrictions. Wait a minute. I can have a little hair control device. Come on, I just got a haircut. You like it? Yeah. So, something that is worn on the external part of the hair is, you see, hair audio devices for players who are hearing impaired and officials. You can have an audio device that attaches, to your hair, I assume with some sort of mild adhesive, and, allows the player to hear better. Legal by rule. I certainly hope that would never, ever become an issue in a game. Taking that personal. When I in my youth, it's possible that I did have permed hair, long hair, and that it was very extensive. That is a possibility. There is photographic evidence. All right, let's look at our very next play scenario. A double personal foul is ruled in the front court near the sideline, while A1's try for goal is in flight. The try is successful. Team A has the possession arrow. The officials score the goal and report the double foul and award Team A an alternating possession throw-in near the spot of the foul. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? No, they were not. The officials have made some mistakes on this play. So we have a try in flight. We probably have two players positioning for rebounding action. Perchance they're both hooking each other and pulling at each other and pull them both simultaneously pulled to the floor. The ball goes in the basket. The officials rule a double foul, right? That's the key. Double foul, double technical, double. In either instance, in this case, a double foul, we will never shoot free throws and we will go to the point of interruption. Has our double foul caused a try in flight to become dead? No. Double foul does not cause the ball to become dead. Score the goal, and our point of interruption would be an end-line throw-in for the opponent. I'm not using the arrow here under any circumstance. Say the player was just dribbling the ball in the front court. Double foul is ruled. It's going to go to the team that was in control of the ball at the spot nearest to where the ball was. Okay, so major mistakes made on this play. Thus O'Connor has it right. LaFonso, excellent, correct. Point of interruption is Team B ball running the end line. Absolutely. Billy Mack, point of interruption. Pretty straightforward. And this is the kind of scenario as well. That if we make a mistake in this situation, it is absolutely a crew mistake. It's not official A saying this is what we're going to do, and the rest of the crew says, okay, sounds good to me, right? If we have any knowledge about the correct ruling on the play, we have to step forward. Even if we're working with that 25-year veteran and we're a first-year official, if we know the rule, we need to stand up for the game. Put the game first. Game, crew, you. Partner, this may be an embarrassing moment by me saying that we're going to do it differently, or we have to do it differently, or we must. Here's what I have. but we need to make the correct ruling as a crew. And if we kick it, we go down as a crew. Michael Hogg has joined from the great state of Michigan, if memory serves. Okay. Well, we appreciate you joining, Michael. Every Wednesday, 7 a.m. You could put it in your calendar. This is must-see TV. All right, let's move on to our very next play scenario. With only a few seconds left on the clock, A1 attempts a try from the backcourt, which lands far short. The ball bounces near the free throw line and up towards the basket. The horn sounds, and then the ball goes through the basket. The officials score the goal, but rule it a 2-point goal. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? So, last second try, length of the court, player's just not strong enough, but they do get it way up in the air. The ball bounces, let's say near the lane line, bounces high in the air, the horn sounds, and the ball goes through the basket. What do we do next? Right? So we need to know a few things. We need to have these with us in our pocket when we go on the court. We know when a try ends. Okay? Now we do know, as we talked about in some previous episodes, that a ball thrown from behind the three-point arc that enters the basket would count as three. So we had the alley-oop play where the player beyond the three-point arc releases what's clearly a pass to a player who's going to attempt to catch and dunk the basketball, but the ball goes in the basket. And that is ruled a three-point try, even though it is ruled a three-point goal, even though, in our judgment, it was not a try, because the rule says, by rule, any ball thrown from behind the three-point arc. So that could affect our thinking on a play like this, but when does a try end? A try ends when it is obvious it will not be successful. So once the ball became short and went below, let's say, the level of the basket, and it was obviously not going to go in, that try had ended. Okay? So since it was no longer a try, the ball entering the basket, even after the horn, if a try entered the basket that was in flight, entered the basket after the horn, it would be a successful goal. But in this instance, since it was not a try, the ball became dead immediately when the horn sounded. There should be no goal on the play. So, were the officials correct? No. No, they were not. No goal, says Michael Hogg, as I put your words through the processor. One of the things that's really challenging is we talk about basketball, and we talk about basketball as officials, and we want our language to be clean. We want it to be rules book influenced and what have you. But we're communicating as human beings, basketball fans, etc., and we have vernacular that we use that is just how people talking about basketball understand things. Right? And so what we want to have as officials is flexibility. I want to be able to tell a player, I want to talk to a player about what they did wrong in language that they can understand, not in language necessarily that's come out of the rules book. Now, if I'm presenting a ruling to two coaches, all right, we've had a situation on the court, we've come together as a crew, we're making a ruling, right? Now my language is going to be super precise and rules book based, 100%. I'm not going to add a lot of language that is, basketball jargon. Score the bucket. I wouldn't say that. I'd say we're going to score the goal and do this. But we want to be able to communicate. That's our number one objective. So I certainly don't espouse only speaking in rules book language, which can be really stiff and unyielding. If we want to communicate to a coach what a situation is when we're discussing something with them, our language is going to be a lot more pliable. But if we're presenting a ruling, and something that's really fantastic, and I wish there was a compilation that I could find, when the NBA this season had officials after review would go to the table, press a button, and their voice, and they would talk to the camera. The ruling on the play is this, because of this, and we will do this, and we will do this. So it's a little sort of informal information session with viewers of the broadcast and the stakeholders in the game, the announcers, etc. But some of the ruling language is just so impressive, and it would be great to have that available to us so that we can see the clarity of communication, the reference to the rule, but also how it's done in a fashion that communicates exactly what happens on the play. Wow. NFHS says I can't work a game. And yes, professional language was NFHS point of emphasis a few years ago. Absolutely. And having NFHS language in our tool belt is essential. We have to be able to communicate in that language. But we also need to communicate with people where they are at, right? If we really want to communicate with clarity, we need to have versatility in our language. That's my feeling, and I'm very strongly about that. Well, here's the thing: it's like throughout these videos, you can see me struggling, right? You recognize, oh, I just said something that clearly communicated what happened, but it was out of bounds in the restrictive language, and then it's not a basket, I mean a goal, right? So you see the struggle. The struggle is real, and the struggle is real. But here we're having an informal discussion. It's between basketball officials, and it's rules based, and we want to have that vernacular, and we also want to sort of share that language. Hear that language. That's a positive thing. But if we step out and say that was a goal, that was a basket, that was a bucket, is there any confusion? No, there's not. But again, if we're at the table presenting a ruling at a key point of the game, rule, this is what we're going to do, etc., and it's going to be very disciplined language in that instance. Awesome. Good stuff, Billy. Yeah, those were the language recommendations from National Federation of High School. Yeah, I think I've said what I need to say about that. All right. Okay. Okay. All right, let me put a bow on the show, and then we'll be back. Right, so I'm going to do it right here. So, next week, at A Better Official, will be free throw week. On Monday, a master class. Free throw rules and restrictions. Wednesday, basketball rules expert. Rules-based play scenarios, where we can look at rules and restrictions. And on Friday, 5 Play Friday, live, 7 a.m. Pacific, we will look at free throw adjudication plays. So, free throws are on the agenda next week at A Better Official. Appreciate everybody joining us today. Now would be a great time to do all the things like subscribe, notify, and share the video with other basketball officials who could find value. Have to give a shout out to our fantastic show supporters: Sylvia Bigot, Mike Sakurai, Jeff Jewett, Mark Sato, and Mike Wong. Much appreciated and much love. If you want to buy us a coffee, you can always head over to abetterofficial.com/coffee. There'll be a link above. All right. That's supposed to happen automatically. Okay. We'll fix it in post. We have additional video content for you here. Make your choice. Choose wisely. And we'll see you in the very next video. Take care. All right, we're back. Those are supposed to have timers and happen automatically. This is so fun. This learning curve is fantastic. Hey, so one of the things we want to do with these live streams is also introduce to the officiating community. I mean, officiating associations around the country have had to change, make changes, and become more online focused with their meetings and communication. And this is a phenomenal development. For years and years, I have felt that everybody getting into a room at 6:30 on a Monday to have an association meeting, while there's some value to that, there's a lot of wasted time and energy, and the meetings themselves can be fantastically run, mediocrely run, or poorly run. And information distribution is fantastically done, mediocrely done, poorly done, right? We have to adopt this new technology. And one of the ways to do that is to use streaming software such as Zoom, which is, sort of entry level. And then to elevate the game, there's the opportunity to use live streaming software. So I've been on this, learning curve of trying to figure out how this software works. And I believe that it can offer a lot of benefits. So you could have a presentation, with slides, etc., run through a Zoom meeting and give a better experience than, let's say, many of the Zoom meetings you may have participated in. So lots of opportunity for improvement as an officiating community, as an association based. So I'm learning the software. This is eCam Live. I'll put a link in the show notes if you're interested in a free trial to try it out. Streaming software allows you to go live to your group. It allows you to put a higher production through a Zoom meeting or through a Microsoft Teams meeting or through whatever platform your association is using. So I'm really excited about sort of introducing that. I haven't seen it in the officiating community, and we're working out the kinks and trying to get better, just like we would. Jason Hayes, appreciate the feedback, making me better every time I watch. Well, that is what it's all about. Thanks, Billy. Appreciate everybody jumping in. Michael, have a great day. Hey, live stream, right? We're getting people in, having the discussion. This is good. Hopefully next week we get more people in. I'm really excited about the masterclass, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It's available for YouTube for viewers after the fact. If you're watching after the fact, you're probably not watching at this point of the video. All right. Let's see. That's going to go there. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody joining today. Make it a great day. As we like to say, do something for someone they couldn't possibly repay, and it will be a great day. All right. Have a great one, everybody.